Pradip da मलाई यो एकदम धेरै डिबेट भएको क्वेसन भयो भएर I'm going to ask Suraj the same thing as well. What does Dalit rights movement want, or is it seeking, basically? Is it equality or is it equity? The age-old debate, I mean, right? Everybody always talks about this because we have the quota system as well. बिहान इलेक्सन कमिसनले नयाँ ऐन ल्याउँदैछ अरे परिमार्जन गरेर भनेर पढिरहेको थियो कि त न्युज अनि त्यसमा बिचमा बसेको भोटरहरूको कुरा गऱ्यो अलिअलि अनि त्यसपछि आएर महिलाको बारेमा कुरा गरेँ तर त्यहाँभन्दा बाहेक मैले अरू मार्जिनलाइज कम्युनिटीको कुरा गरेँ देखिनँ त्यहाँ होइन मिस भएको कुरा एउटा त्यो कति ठाउँमा म्यान्डेटोरी बनाइदिए पनि छैन त्यो एउटा कोटा बनाइदिएछ त्यतिले पुगेछ भन्ने बुझाइ छ होइन त के हो त लडाइँ खास यो लडाइँ के को लागि हो त
यसलाई सजिलो भाषामा मैले के भन्ने गरेको छु भने यो राज्यमा चाहिँ जुन खालको विविधता छ यो देशमा जुन खालको विविधता छ त्यो राज्य संयन्त्रमा नि झल्किनु पर्यो भेरी सिम्पल यो देशमा जुन खालको विविधता छ त्यो राज्य संयन्त्र सबै ठाउँमा झल्किनु पर्यो जुन हुन सकिरहेको छैन अब त्यहाँ महिलाको कुरा आयो महिलाको कुरा किन आउँछ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ महिलाको कुरा आउँदाखेरि बाहुन क्षेत्री महिलाको कुरा पनि आउँछ हैन अनि तर दलितको कुरा किन आउँदैन भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ दलित आउँदाखेरि चाहिँ त्यहाँ चाहिँ च्यालेन्जको रूपमा लिइन्छ अहिले नै हामीले हेरौँ अहिलेको पार्लियामेन्टमा 165 जना दलित 165 जना सांसदहरू हुनुहुन्छ एकजना मात्रै दलित सांसदले जितेर चुनाव जितेर आउनु भएको छ भनेको 165 जनामा एकजना मात्रै हुने यो लोकतान्त्रिक अब हामीले भनेको देशमा यो गणतन्त्र आइसकेपछि पनि यस्तो हुन्छ भनेपछि त दलितहरू कहाँ जाने हैन दलितहरूको लागि त छुट्टै राज्य त छैन हामीले त यहीँ आफ्नो हिस्सा खोज्ने हो भनेको कारणले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ यो जुन खालको हाम्रो माइन्डसेट छ नि यो नगर्दा पनि हुन्छ भन्ने खालको जुन माइन्डसेट छ त्यसले चाहिँ नेपालको मैले त के भन्छु भन्दाखेरि नेपालको संविधानलाई नेपालको राजनैतिक पार्टीहरू जसले बनाएको उनीहरूले नै कुल्चिरहेछन् संविधानलाई नै मानिरहेको छैन किनभने संविधानलाई मान्ने हो भने पनि कम्तीमा पनि अहिले दलितहरूको कम्तीमा पनि 38 जना सांसदहरू हुनुपर्छ अहिले 16 जना मात्रै सांसदहरू हुनुहुन्छ भनेको प्रोपोर्सनल रिप्रेजेन्टेसनको कुरा हामी गरिरहेछौँ भनेपछि त्यो भएको छैन अर्को एउटा इम्पोर्टेन्ट म धेरै लामो कुरा भन्न चाहन्न तर इम्पोर्टेन्ट कुरा र प्रश्न चाहिँ के गर्न चाहन्छु भने यो कोटा आएपछि सब चिज बिग्रियो भन्ने जस्तो भाष्य निर्माण गर्न खोजिएको छ हैन यहाँ नेपालको सन्दर्भमा सबभन्दा बढी कोटा भनेको बाहुन क्षेत्रीलाई छ किन भन्दाखेरि सबै ठाउँमा कसरी एउटै समुदायको मान्छे भयो त भनेको त्यो एक खालको त्यो कोटा नै हो किन भन्दाखेरि सधैँभरि उनीहरूले पाए धेरै मान्छेले के भन्छन् भने मेरिटोक्रेसीको कुरा गर्छन् हैन मेरिटोक्रेसीको कुरा गर्ने हो भने यो देश यो चाहिँ दक्षिण एसियामा र संसारको गरिब र हरितन्नम देश कसरी भयो एकदम मेरिटोक्रेसी भएको मान्छेहरूले चलाएको देश त गजबको हुनुपर्ने हो नि त त्यस्तो पनि त छैन नि त यो देश छ भनेपछि यो मैले खालि प्रश्न के फ्ल्याग गर्न खोजिरहेको छु भने हामीले एकचोटि आफूलाई रिफ्लेक्ट गर्नु पर्यो फर्केर हेर्नु पर्यो कि हामी ठिक बाटोमा छौँ कि छैनौँ भने जब डाइभर्सिटीको इन्स्योर हुन्छ विविधता इन्स्योर हुन्छ तब मात्रै समृद्धि आउँछ अहिले चाहिँ अब फर इक्जाम्पल कुरा गर्ने हो भने दलितहरू चाहिँ ट्रेडिसनल अकुपेसनमा धेरै सिप भएको मान्छेहरू छन् हैन तर उनीहरूको सिपको कुनै पनि कदर भएको छैन उनीहरूको लागि छुट्टै केही व्यवस्था राज्यले गरेको छैन जसले गर्दाखेरि भएको सिप पनि लोप हुने र सँगसँगै चाहिँ उनीहरूले कुनै रोजगारी पनि नपाउने उद्यम पनि गर्न नसक्ने यस्तो खालको अवस्था छ त्यसैले यो हामीले बुझ्नुपर्ने कुरा चाहिँ के हो भन्दाखेरि भेरी सिम्पल मैले जहिले पनि के भन्ने गरेको छ भने मलाई चाहिँ मैले पर्सनली के भन्छु भने यो देश चाहिँ मेरो हो तर मेरो यो राज्य चाहिँ होइन राज्य मेरो हुन सकिरहेको छैन मैले भन्ने चाहिँ यो त्यो भएको कारणले गर्दा देशको विविधता राज्य समुद्रमा झल्किनु पर्यो तब मात्रै यो देश अगाडि बढ्छ
Suraj, you just gave me a interesting stat. So out of 165 directly represented members of the parliament, there is only one Dalit out there. We do have proportional system as well, which basically, in true Nepali terms, it forces political parties to actually allocate a certain number of seats for the community as well. But if you look at it from the directly represented member of the parliament, then that's really sad to see just one member out there. At the same time, one can again say that, you know what, it's all based on merit. Anyone can give their candidacy in the election and be popular, have popular agendas and win the election. So bringing the same old debate back to you, how does quota system work until a country is truly meritocratic?
I mean, I think quota is a
How's it supposed to work? I mean,
okay. I think we need to have clarity on what quota is and how it fits into the system that we are operating in. Quota and system are two different things. The system is what the state is, how it is operating. Quota is an agenda which wants to have inclusivity, because when you are a democratic country, democracy means representation of all. Without that, at least political democracy, we are looking at autocracy. We are looking at oligarchy.
mm-hmm.
We are looking at people who are with minority views ruling it. And for that not to happen, democracy is a very good position. And democracy is a promise to the country that we are trying to achieve equality. Now, it might not come in day one. It might not even come in 10 years. But the first step is to be taken
Mm-hmm.
to reach that end goal. Quota is that first step to reach that end goal. And so sometimes the first step is difficult people to understand, because they are used to going in certain directions for certain time, and then suddenly there's a new approach and you're like, I'm not used to it. It's been discriminated. And so people who feel that meritocracy should prevail, if that's the real metric, then who sets the standards of meritocracy? That's what matters, right? If we are setting the standards of, let's say, us, three of us going and swimming in a 50-meter water tank. Now, if we are really assessing, and let's say we go and two of you fail miserably and I succeed, but then if you look at it, how come Suraj was so fast? Well, Suraj must be taking training, or maybe he's been doing this for some time. We never been in the water. So, and so metric of meritocracy cannot be decided the terms I feel are necessary. So if I have to decide, I'll say the fastest swimmer will win the game.
Mm-hmm.
But I will not use the other things like, you know what, I'm trained. Are you guys trained enough to compete with me equally? So meritocratic argument begins with an unfair and unequal tests.
Mm-hmm.
The measurements which we are assessing other person's merit. It doesn't take into account composite whole. It just takes into account that which benefits them. And in many cases, people from the dominant castes they are in the system. They are ruling. The prime ministers, very shamefully, of Nepal so far have been Brahmin people, Brahmin male, and I think that's emblematic. What's meritocratic about Brahmins and not about the Janajati people or about the Madhesi people? What's there that what makes them special of a certain stock? And that's where we start questioning, because unless and until democracy is constantly checked, it will never have a progress. It will always, it's like you need to change water from the tank, or else it's going to create a very ugly algae. Democracy, the kind of system that we need to bring, the politics of quota, representation, we have to understand it's about compensations, but also it's about taking the country forward. Unless and until we have that graph, and if inequality persists, no country can progress. Inequality is the cardinal sin of any country's progress. And so for us to think about future, about meritocracy, we need to think that meritocracy, if decided by the ruling class, is always going to favor them. Your school system, somebody who sets up the school curriculum, and now their children are going to go to the same school and pass. It's so unfair to the people who have never had access to the language, to the culture, to the curriculum. All of a sudden you tell them, okay, you have to compete with these people, and then what you do? Okay, let's make more arrangements. And then what kind of arrangements you look? You look for social metrics. How is the society contained? Society is contained according to region, language, caste, religion, possibly ethnicity. There are various metrics for different countries. In our context, it applies to this kind of assessments. And many people who have a very negative viewpoint of meritocracy have not really negative point of quota as opposed to meritocracy. The graphic representation that he gave about more than 160, but only one person is there. That is a failure of meritocracy, and that really means this is how meritocracy should be worked, where we will just promote ourselves under the name of meritocracy, and if you don't have popular mandate, you don't. I mean, this is not a natural thing. It is a very crooked plot, strategized over several generations, and it's mastered under now modern lingua of the state and law, and that's the problem. So it's good to be here.